Live from the Real Guppy Dockside Learning and Multimedia Center. It's the Real Angler Podcast with Community Kevin Brannon. Brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle. Designed to perform. Channel Island Sport Fishing. Offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats. And more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. And now, here's your host, Community Kevin Brannon. Today's guest, Annette Garcia, founder and executive director of Nettie's Fit Fitness and A Heart of an Angel.
I'm a little bit older than Kevin.
So good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, wherever you're at. I'm here with a good friend of ours, Annette Garcia. And we haven't had her on in about a year, and her stuff's growing. Heart of an Angel. I'll let her tell you about it. She actually helped me get the ball rolling to get my teaching credential. And I'm somewhere in between. I got it finally, and then I got to take some classes. I need to go down there. But we supporting Annette in this last year because, being a solopreneur is tough business. I just got an email from the Small Business Development Center today saying, hey, we haven't heard about Real Anglers in like 3 years because the Guppies has been doing more of it, right? So we got multiple accounts because I get wise counsel from each, right? So, but being a solopreneur, getting interns and getting helpers and staff. Today we had our staff meeting and I was like, I have 9 employees. But remember 1 year ago, it was me and Marshall. 1 year ago. And how it's all changed into 9 employees. Like we had a few interns, Will and Eduardo, that came in to help us a little hand. And we called the antique crew, the guys that, that are retired, that come out and help during the week when we did the fishing trips. But again, limited on, when you take people that are retired and put them back into the workforce and what they can do. So we've been through some dramatic changes here, stepping it up. But Annette's going to be getting some of that same support through CSUCI and through Cal Lutheran's Center for Nonprofit Training, because that stuff is important. And again, having enough more hands on deck is very important. There's some stuff. So right now, if you guys are listening, Annette, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. I had a little radio show this morning and now here. So yeah, I'm doing well.
That's it, man. All over the place.
Keeping the word out. Getting the word out.
Yeah. So I was going to say is that, we've had some of the younger kids come in. I have somebody that did a whole outline on some of the social media stuff that we're talking and posting, but we didn't really have enough people to cover that too, right? So that's what when you find out your capacity level of what you can handle and what's your priority too, so what you're learning. But I think the point to that getting started is sometimes you don't need all those things to just keep it moving, you don't got to overthink it. It's got to be extravagant. You don't have to, I remember shooting videos in my living room. We didn't have a studio yet, but at least we got proof of concept, right?
Right.
At least we got something out there. We didn't just say, oh, well, one day when we get
analysis,
this or we get that.
Analysis paralysis.
Is that what it is?
I guess that's a term that they say because you're trying to, figure it all out before you do it. But no, just go.
Yeah. Or wait until the right time, in fitness too, people wait for when everything they talk about this at church, when the kids are better and they got this and I'll do that. And then another year goes by and then when they grow up and they get to here. So some of it is analysis. Some of it's just procrastination.
Yeah.
Some of it is, again, writing your goals down and then looking at them so you can see what you're getting done and not getting done. That's some stuff I'm working on right now. I got some people that want me to be an accountability partner. So the guy's like, I got a plan. I said, okay, bring it to work on Thursday. Let me see your plan. You got an idea or a plan? Because if you're going to build a house, what do you have?
Yeah, you got to have a blueprint.
I have a plan, right? Otherwise, you know where the door is going to go. But anyway, so congratulations, Annette, on all your growth and your success. Man, tell us what you got going on and what you got coming in the future and how was your new year. And, I see you out and about and I'm glad that you're reporting back that these services are going to help you grow your staff. And
yeah. So first of all, I just want to say I appreciate you. Kevin and I have known each other for a while, we share a lot of commonalities with workouts and just working with families and organizations and all these things. And I just want to say I appreciate you for supporting and coming alongside of us. And we are getting 2 interns. We've already done our orientation with them.
Do you know what classes they are by chance? Communication or environment?
One is a health class. I think they're both from a health class. One of them's graduating and going to Pepperdine, and she's really on fire with all the apps and wanting to help a Heart of an Angel grow, and has a background with gymnastics and working with kids, and sees the value in sewing into youth and families, and seeing the seeds that are planted, and with the kids coming back later in years and coming back to her and so on. So she's really excited. And she and another girl are going to be starting with us. We did, like I said, we did the orientation with CI from CI Serves Channel Islands program, and I learned about that through you. So thank you for the introduction. And I think that we kind of know sometimes that programs are available to us, but it was that little push. You sent me an email and you said, hey, talk to this girl. I'm going to this place and we're having
Jennifer.
a meeting, and Jennifer Raymond. And I appreciate that. Like, you invited me to come, and I went, and I got introduced to the people, and now here we are.
You got to see Annette hustling too, man. Like she's on it. Like she's shaking hands and moving around, just getting sometimes. That's why it's important, as our good friend Eric Thomas says, is 70% of success is just showing up.
Yes.
We went to the SHOT Show out in Vegas last week for one day. And we got made some, we'll see how we contacts you meet people, right? But
Yeah.
That's how you network there, right?
Yes.
We're doing that in Vegas at more of a hunting and gun show. And, but that, as long as you have that, like, philosophy, I think is the best part. So just showing up, and then you can just run around for an hour or 2 hours, shaking hands, getting cards, and maybe one out of the two that you talk to will actually do something or turn into, but then two of those four might turn into something else in a year or 6 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, it's good to see you do it. And if you didn't, I wouldn't invite you. Like if you see Annette too at the chamber breakfast, she's a rapper. She always has a song to sing. So she has this outgoing personality, right? And she's trying her hardest. If anything, Annette, but sometimes like trying to cheer her up to think about how she could think outside the box besides just this children's thing. Is it going into, but again, I know there's a skill that you could grow, but I think her talent is so sharp in what she brings that she could expand, outside of that world. Because the reason I say that is because it can be a little challenging in education, right? Getting through the doorkeepers and getting through the gatekeepers. So if you put all your eggs in one basket, but now that you got these interns, maybe you could leave them to do this while you could venture into that next step, right? Or getting out, so that way, because you have to grow, man. Growth is important.
Absolutely.
These little arms you got, they weren't always 18-inch biceps. They used to be a little 13 or 14.
Baby
right?
anaconda, soon to be a python.
I did my protein drink, but keep telling them what you got going on.
That's what we used to say. So we're really excited to be getting our interns coming through. They, we built some programs for them and things for them to work on, and super exciting, about to have some help, because you cannot do anything alone. Sometimes we get alone on our own island and we don't want to delegate, or, maybe I'm not the only one that has that, but, you have to delegate because your bandwidth is only so big.
But do you think, like, sometimes delegating, and this is the thing that we talk about, especially in nonprofit right now, like, at least your interns, they have an obligation. Sometimes delegating to people that put your request as a nonprofit or a friend on the back burner, right?
Yeah.
So then you quit asking people because you've been let down by people that are doing you a favor or helping you out, and it's not a priority to them, and you got to keep nudging. Hey, did you get that done? Is this ready yet? And then you're like, I'll do it all myself. So
I get that.
So even not just having, I had a board one time of 17 people, and it was crazy. Too many people, right? I went from none and got too many, and then I had to go back. So that's part of the blessing and the lesson I've been saying lately, right? Is but that part, right? So you delegate, but delegating to the right people that are with it.
Yeah, and to your point about having these interns, and they have an outline, that they have a criteria that they have to meet through their syllabus, and one of the things I told the girls when I came in to do the orientation, I said, this is our first year with Service Learning as a partner, so we're going to learn and grow together, because everything is not in stone. We learn as we go. That's how we grow.
Do you have any projects specifically that you're going to put them in? Because they're usually, if it's a capstone project, which I didn't even know what a capstone project was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought everything was the same. So that's like 50 hours, like their final project that they have to devote bigger time to. And then the ones that are doing like the 25-hour time. So do you have an idea of what projects you're going to have them signing up into?
Yeah, I don't know what their requirement is, but I have them for 90 hours. So I have them 6 hours a week. So One of them will be working with me outside in the community with the kids program and doing
Like a program assistant type of thing?
Yes,
Okay.
like helping me set up, working with the kids, facilitating.
You got an aide.
Yes, I have an aide, and then part of her responsibility, we have a sign-in sheet for all of the kids that come through.
Data collecting.
So then she'll have to data collecting, and also she'll do impact reports for us.
That's it.
And also too,
Then you
not
flip
just
that
for that
into your
program,
next RFP. Go
right?
ahead.
Not just for that program that she's working on, but for some of the data that's been collecting and piling up in the background, and just get it all into one place.
Yeah. Organization.
So organization, impact reports.
You should have you should take what she's doing, have her outline. Again, I don't know if you are or not. This is something we learn, is to put a procedure in. So who the next intern follows that same procedure. So you should have them identify the proper procedure on how to put that in and put the data in there. Okay. Or to store
I like that idea.
Okay. That way your next intern doesn't have to recreate it. They could just continue on from it,
So, like I said, Kevin, it's going to be a learning experience for me too. But yes, I did identify some programs. I mean, some projects, not programs, some
projects within the program.
Projects within the program, and projects for them to accomplish, and things that they have to do in the time that they're with A Heart of an Angel. Like I said, one of them will be spending some time because she does want to work with the kids. The other intern, she really loves working with kids. She's a gymnastics teacher, but she's on board for growing the organization. Like, she sees vision. She is capable to work in through all of the apps, the chats, and the Canvas and the Google Docs and all that. And she's all about helping with getting more procedural things in place and building the organization. Like, she sees what we are and doing health literacy and getting that all going.
Okay, I got to play devil's advocate for a second.
Okay.
Just to make sure that one of those projects is getting you human resources, because if you're going to the program and they leave and you're back to Annette by herself again, who's going to run all those programmings? So maybe you want to reach out right now and be like, we need some volunteer recruitment, because what's the first step of growth? I need human resources, because you could have all these programs that you can't even manage. So it's just something to think about. Like, okay, maybe some of our first should be, I need to get 3 more volunteers. How can we maybe create a flyer that says Heart of an Angel is having a volunteer recruitment evening,
I love that. Thank you.
That way you have people to say, hey, here's our programming, and I have 3 people to come out and help me, So it's something to think about, because if you create all these programs, ideas are great. But is your capacity able to, because again, talking about, the point is, you're talking about delegating. You're going to end up with more stuff to do to delegate without people to delegate to.
Well, some of the things that I'm having, the administration things, are things that have been on my list to get done. So it's not all necessarily having to do with the programs that we offer, but more of administration foundation things, like a grant tracker, just different things, to have in place. Like, we are still a grassroots growing up nonprofit, like all of us, and we don't have a network for good type of a background yet, which does all of those things for you in the background. Like, you can
somebody has to.
Well, you still have to enter the data regardless.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Somebody has to tell the machine what to do.
I mean, regardless of what you have running in the background, there's still a human that has to enter the data.
So I'm saying trying to find a couple of human resources. Again, I'm saying if it's on your team, because you're saying they're going to grow, and growth means human beings, just to.
Yeah. So that's a good point, though, having HR stuff in place, like a procedures and plans in place.
Who does that is the HR firm, and they did it for us, so that if you do have a recruitment mixer, that you do it. But again, that'd be a great project for for them to do, is like help you throw a recruitment mixer before they leave, for volunteers, and make a couple flyers, and then have people sign up. Then you're asking earlier, how do I share on then you practice on how you share that on all your platforms.
That's not going to be on the podcast, right?
What's that?
The Instagram question.
I don't know. Maybe Scotty might leave it in there. I'm not sure.
I didn't know we were rolling.
But we keep everything as authentic as possible, right? So you can't be vulnerable on one take and not on the other.
It's not that I'm vulnerable. It's just that I didn't realize that we had started yet.
Oh.
That's all.
Yeah, Scotty's slick like that.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that we had gotten.
Once you got the microphone on, you got to be careful what you say. That's all I got to say.
Man.
One time I was doing video production at Oxnard College, right? And me and my ex-wife were having a argument, and I was mic'd up, and I went to the restroom to use the restroom, and I forgot that I was mic'd up.
Uh-oh.
So the whole production team heard that conversation, and it came back out.
Well,
So once you're microphoned up, be careful. That's what I gotta say. That's it for sure.
yeah.
Anybody listening in the future, once you're mic'd, audio is hot. But the point of that is that's a practice though, right? So if I'm trying to give you right now, you just said, again off camera, you got to give me coaching, right, on how to do the social networking thing, right? Now it's on here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you is here's a shot to give that a try is have somebody create a flyer like that when you see that Coastal Critters one that says, hey, we're having a recruitment mixer because we're growing our program and I'm going to need people to help me grow this to delegate these projects to. Then they give you the flyer, they help you set up the event, and then that gives you something to really push out on all your platforms.
I like it. I like it.
Simultaneous. Because I'm telling you, working backwards is tougher. Meaning that you have it, but and everything I teach you or show you is somebody taught me, right? So but the point is, I used to overthink. Like I thought I'm ahead too far, right? I'm spinning too many plates on my own, is what Roberto told me, right? So you're gonna have more plates spinning, and Annette's gonna be the one trying to spin all those plates as you're growing.
Yes, I'm familiar with the like a one-arm paper hanger, wallpaper hanger, and you only got one arm, you're trying to do it all yourself.
And the reason I'm saying that is because I think there's a difference between what founder syndrome versus director fatigue is because founders were so passionate and fired up that we will annihilate ourselves in the time that we spend because we love it. Yeah. And that's not good. So as you just got to know growth patterns to yourself. So it's great that you're growing. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of, as you're growing, make sure that all these are growing, at the same time.
Well, we're grateful to have some support, really. I mean, we're just really grateful to have the support coming in, the interns, and to get some help. Is it going to be, do I know exactly perfectly what's going to happen? No, but we're all going to grow together and learn together. And then it'll be just better for next time when we have another opportunity to get some more interns going, and not just the interns, but volunteers, because, people that see what we're doing and they recognize the value of getting out there and being with the kids and stuff. They want to support us. And one thing that I'm really learning about this last year.
What do you mean by support?
I mean by believing in the program and wanting to support us, whatever their skill set is, that they can support us. Everybody has a different skill set. Some people are amazing at organizing a fundraiser. Some people are amazing at administrative work, creating forms and Google Docs and things for your to have in your tool set to get out to people, or reporting, or ideas, or creativeness on using flyers or Canva or marketing. Like everybody has a skill set and something to share that maybe is not in your wheelhouse. So supporting comes in many different ways. Supporting it's not always monetary. It's people sharing their time, people showing up to share their skill set, whatever that gift is, that they have. I don't know everything, but somebody knows something. I was very humbled. I was trying to work on something just in a Google Docs and Google Drive. Google Drive has not been my wheelhouse. I don't use the Drive.
When I put in the Drive, I'm like, no, send me a PDF, put in a file.
Right. But I learned because.
Hi, Melissa.
Right. But how I wanted to work with the students is I wanted to create a Google Drive and drop all their assignments or their work, their ideas and their projects in the Google Drive. So I had to learn about it. And I was so frustrated, and it was taking me so long. So this is what I learned, that people want to help you, but you have to ask. So I reached out to two people that I knew one that knew Google Docs very well. And I reached out to two people that knew Canva, because I was sharing a Canva file with the interns also. And it was like, it's got to be easier than this. It can't be this hard. But since it's new to me, navigating is easy when you know how to navigate through something, right? So this is the point. The point is that I reached out, and both the people that I reached out to called me right away and walked me through. It was easy. So what did I learn? People want to help you, but you have to ask.
You have to ask?
Yes, you have to ask them. When you've been on your own island, and this comes from, like what you said a moment ago about sometimes when you're waiting for somebody to show up because they said they're going to help you and do something. And then you're like following up with them like, hey, did you get that done? And then, it's not on their top radar because they're doing it for you as a favor.
This perfect question I'm going to ask her. Watch.
Oh my gosh. So
So because of that, when you need, that's what she really needs, funding, because you don't want to always have to. When you ask, you don't ask for free. You need to raise $5,000 or $10,000 so you could pay for professional services. So people that are listening out there, it was on the podcast last. Oh no, it was on. I was on the women in business. What is it?
Weave?
No, the women on the weekend on KVTA. Ladies on the air.
Women on,
Right.
yeah.
And they said, well, what do you
With
need? And I
Karen
said, yeah, I need money
Campbell.
I need money to pay for these services. So if you're somebody that is out looking to fund it, instead you happen to ask for help. You know what I mean? Like ask for the right help. And if that costs you money, nonprofits should be having a support system to help cover the cost of those. So you're not using favors and you're not using students that only give you a limited amount of time.
Absolutely.
You need so this is what I'm telling you is this is for anybody in nonprofit, not just Annette. That when you're thinking about supporting nonprofits, that think about if you're helping them grow in their professionalism as well, that they're not doing everything for free. And this is a big shift right now in nonprofit in the sector is getting funders and donors to realize just paying for the program, this is just a part of the program. If I take a kid to the island or if I take them, I want to buy them fishing poles, but I need professional services really, 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 really bad. But professional services cost a little bit, right? You could let your cousin come in and try to fix your plumbing, but the plumber's probably better than the plumber, right? I mean, it's going to be better at it, right, than you trying to do it that way. So just the point of that isn't for you. I'm just letting the listeners know that these are things that they could think about when they're funding, right? Because you have your SWOT analysis, and usually in the sector, it's always funding, right?
Yes.
So if you know that those are things that you need and you're asked, because you might ask people that say, okay, well, and that's going to cost, 3 hours. Like they came to fix my computer. What's his name? Derek, right? We paid him. Can just can't take my computer home and not pay you. We need our computer back. So part of that knowing that, again, these are for the listeners listening, that when you're helping nonprofits out, think about their needs that aren't always just to the children, because if you don't have enough support, then that other part of the program is still going to suffer, correct?
Absolutely. And to that point, even with insurance requirements in some school districts, not all school districts, but some school districts require you to have a pretty heavy coverage on your insurance requirements. And I learned that the hard way, because we worked at another school district that didn't have this big requirement. And the amount for the coverage was above and beyond what a Heart of an Angel could handle. And we lost the contract.
Are you ready?
And it was not.
I got another one. That's why I tell you not to just stay in kids. That's why you can't really just stay in the schools and you got to get out, because some of that is so hard. That's what I was telling you at the beginning, to get out from the kid thing and just worrying about schools and getting through that. It's a lot of tape. It's harder, but if you could take your services and branch out into adults or senior citizens, and as that's what I mean by you're telling you have this person in place that is going to help you. You could start looking at these other avenues of revenue, so that way you're not cuffed to that system. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
with these folks,
we are teaching not through a Heart of an Angel, but through Netty Fit Fitness. Mm-hmm. We are teaching senior fitness as well at a couple of the assisted living organizations. And we're also working with Housing Authority as well, like just to teach in senior fitness.
Because everybody needs to be fit.
Everybody needs to move. It's not just a kid thing.
Right. So again, the point of that is, earlier about is, and now you have this team come in, you could start to make a small transition, make a step that way, because they're going to help out some of that stuff. You got a program assistant, so you could just, again, dive in and broaden your portfolio. So tell us what else you have going on. So now you have the assistants. Now we talked about nonprofit. You got some support. What programs do you have coming up? Is it weekend work? Is it only in the schools? Are you still out at the park? After school programming? Where are you, again, just not under school? And just let us know more about your programs and where you're at, where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm still at Kellogg Park on the Avenue. Our programs will be up in a couple weeks for spring, summer, and we do once a week there after school time. And then we serve at the Westview apartment complex there through housing. That's not really a public event, but we get a really good turnout, and we're really serving the residents there with kids and families that don't have the opportunity to maybe get out to outside programs because of whatever their situation is, cars, 2 people working, not whatever. We bring the pop-up fit camps to them right there on the property, and we've been doing that for a while. But we do that there weekly, there Mondays, and then we also do every other Saturday with the kids there, because I really have a heart for serving all kids. But, when I was growing up, I was a latchkey kid, and I had one parent, my dad, and my dad didn't see the importance of Nettie going to play baseball or to be in dance class or all those things. So, I would get my narrow behind and ride my bike to my 1 year that I went to summer baseball. I had a softball that I was involved in. But so when I was a kid, I stayed at after school program because there was, I was a latchkey kid. So all of these things that I'm involved in are kind of things that, I grew up through. But after school program was very different when we were growing up. If you wanted to stay after school, you just stayed. Like, you didn't have to sign up or anything. But
I was in campfire.
Right. But the point is that when I was a kid, like, I didn't really have the opportunity to have all these programs to go to, or go play baseball, or go to dance class, or go to do gymnastics. So I think somewhere subliminally, it's like I'm bringing that program to these kids because it's like myself.
Yeah, but I think
I'm providing a program for these kids that, yeah. So
do you look at it asking the question again, jumping in from it, because the work that I do alongside is it's just a different generation though, right? Because after us, how old you are, like the boys club opened up, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe that wasn't around when you were younger, right? So after school programming, it does look different in how it looks today, right? Like every generation and every era, things do change, right?
Yeah.
You stride your, again, we talked off air back in the day before your generation. My grandma, they had a schoolyard where only, every age was there.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't have all these schools. So my grandma would be like, well, I'm bringing back what I did in my day. It's like just reminding that there's eras that shift too.
Absolutely.
So there's a side of it that we do, but knowing what the kids want to participate, if they only want to play the same games we played, or only watch the Flintstones because that's what we grew up watching, right? Like eating Saturday morning cartoons in your pajamas and eating, like my grandma didn't do that when she was 10. So these kids today, some of them too are like the eras have changed too, to where the guy came in yesterday, he was like 75 years old, and he was on my door just going off on kids and what he did. And I'm like, bro, well, 75 years ago, yeah, it was a way lot different. I think you didn't have a tractor.
Different.
Like that was a new modern day technology, right? And you had slaves and donkeys and mules, right? And your grandma was like, I'm not using that stupid machine. And like, I got all these over here that are doing it all with their hands. And it's like, the point of that is that as we modernize some of these programs and what are changing, but what has come along and how do we become a value in that system? You could create your own, like we were talking about the scouts. Even the scouts are changing, right? Like, I was a Boy Scout, Eagle Scout. Yeah, well, kids don't really like that type of structure anymore. It is different. We got to sell popcorn, and we got to show up and dress up, and there's limits on the different dens that I get into. But again, that's how you grew up. And again, just knowing that some of these kids today aren't us.
Well, this is what I know, that showing up is a big part. Whether it's showing up for yourself or showing up for these kids. Like, I don't know what these kids are going through. None of us, like, nobody knew what I was going through when I was growing up. Nobody knew what was going on.
But we always go through, but we all go through something. We know that part, right? Everybody goes through something.
Everybody's going through something, doing something, dealing with something. Maybe not, but everybody's got something going on. So, showing up for, these kids, if they can get out there and, play some fitness games and get moving and, get outside and take some breaks from their screens and just be out there moving and being kids, really, just playing and just having fun. And, I think that showing up for them is half of it, just being there. Like, I don't know what they'll remember, but I had a little boy a few weeks ago. He's been in program for about 3 years, and he said, Miss Annette, next year can I be here and volunteer with the Heart of an Angel? And I was like, yeah, Christopher, absolutely, don't wait till next year, let's do it now. So it was just cute that he wanted to do it.
You got an intern already, you got more interns,
right? So it's just, you can see the value of being there just by the way that the kids respond.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just important, like, it's legacy. I don't have any biological kids, but I have so many kids that, know who Miss Annette is in the community, and I see them around. Like, we talked about that before, that, when you see kids out in the community and they say, hey, Kevin, or, they know who you are.
Is that John Cena? The kids called me yesterday. I think
it's just showing up because, sometimes our parents right now, especially, even myself, I grew up as a latchkey kid, and my dad was working all the time, and my mother had mental health issues.
Sounds like today.
Which eventually landed her in chronic homelessness. My big sister, who took care of me, had mental breakdowns. breakdown, and just, we had all kinds of stuff going on at the house. Nobody knew what was going on with me at home. All they knew is that I live with my dad. That's it. Annette lives with her dad.
Would you consider that a barrier?
No.
Right. So today, thank you. Because today, some of these education places, that's a barrier. Wait, because your parents work? That's a blessing. Someone got to pay these bills. They'll pay themselves.
Well, right? Everybody is different. I've always been a very independent child. So, I learned value from my situation. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is what I learned from my situation by having a single family home is I learned independence. I learned work ethic from my dad because my dad was a hard worker, and I learned responsibility young. So I learned a lot of good, valuable things by my circumstances.
Right. But but the point of that I'm making is that back in those days, it was like admirable. Today, it's like something's wrong with it, right? So again, if a kid goes home and he doesn't, like, you're making a case of these things that you went through, and then these kids today go like that. That's what I'm saying. It just seems like it's a little different lens nowadays.
I think we coddle.
So is it a parenting style or is it children's style, right? Things have changed.
I think a lot of things have changed. I mean, everything is very sensitive now. So, it's just a different thing, but it's always good to come through. We're excited about 2026.
Heart of an Angel.
A Heart of an Angel.
Nettie Fit Fitness. So again, if you have elders, I'm trying to help her promote it all. Because just like she said, all those people need it. If you're a kid, you're going through stuff. Adults are going through stuff. Breakaway, adults are on their devices all day long. Like, I just think we got to look at
everybody needs to move.
Let's do a humanity thing, right?
Thank you for reminding me of that. So we have this really cool thing coming up. I've combined a Heart of an Angel and Nettie Fit Fitness, and we're going to bring kids to the assisted living and give Valentine's to the seniors. So I'm going to bring my kids from a Heart of an Angel, from where I teach adult fitness, and we're going to go bless the seniors there. So yeah, anyways.
You're a blessing.
Oh, you're a blessing.
That is a blessing. That's why I like working with her and helping her where we can, again, investing in her.
Thank you,
to grow, because I know that's what it takes. But I have a school meeting with Ventura Unified School at 11:30, so I got to get off this, and then I get to go to Carpinteria School and teach fishing. So meetings today, podcast, and then tonight at church, man, we're going to be doing 3 nights in a row. It's called First Things First. So, and then tomorrow and Thursday I actually get to film First Things First. So I'm excited.
Well, thank you for your support. Thank you for, sponsoring and supporting us through CLU so we can get some training on nonprofit. So I just appreciate you, Kevin. I appreciate you as my friend, and just all of it. It's
just
a blessing.
Make sure when you think bigger that you bring along enough support to think bigger. That's all I got to tell you. See, I take the little bites of this protein bar because I'm fasting until 11. Don't try to eat the whole protein bar. Just take a bite. Okay. Okay. All right. That's going to do it today. Barry, say goodbye again. I hate to rush, but I got a meeting with the school because we're pushing it, but you guys have a good day. Annette, heartofanangel.com. Check it out.
heartofanangel.org.
Let's go.
Today's guest, Annette Garcia, founder and executive director of Nettie's Fit Fitness and A Heart of an Angel. To learn more about Real Guppy Outdoors, please visit www.communitykevin.com. Brought to you by AFTCO Fishing Apparel and Tackle, designed to perform. Channel Islands Sport Fishing, offering deep-sea fishing on quality sport fishing charter boats, and more. Costa Sunglasses. Discover life's greatest adventures with Costa. See what's out there. Daiwa. If you want innovation and quality in your fishing products, Daiwa has what you need. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.